Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. When Ponzi and I went to the Apple Store to pick up the 15-inch LED backlit MacBook Pro, specifically for our GnomeDex conference, that machine specifically was sponsored by Legit. Thank you so much, Legit, LIJIT.com. We had to make a decision about that screen. Was it going to be glossy or matte? Ponzi said, glossy all the way. I said, matte, FTW. And everybody looked at me like, WTF? We ended up getting the glossy 15-inch LED backlit MacBook Pro. God, that's a mouthful. Then, of course, when Blue Sky Factory decided to sponsor the 17-inch MacBook, that was the one that I was going to be using, largely because the screen resolution was more to my liking. I think it's 1920 by 1200. Woo, that's a lot of pixels. I decided to go with matte. I happen to like matte. So the question came in through email, and a few people have been asking this question: matte versus glossy, which is better? And like most questions that people ask, this answer is subjective, meaning you might like something different than I like. So I'm sure as soon as I said I like matte, half the chat room said that they liked glossy. As a matter of fact, what I can do here, after my Edge connection decides to stop rattling my speakers, is I'm going to set up a poll here: matte versus glossy. And I'm going to ask this question to all the people here in the chat room live at live.pirillo.com. Matte, glossy. And we're going to start the poll. Now, right now, we've got 132 people watching live. And to take part in the live poll, all you have to do is click the little glowing check mark button that's in the live stream video window. Thanks to Ustream.tv for making this tool possible. I'm going to pull that up, big screen here behind me. Go into the poll. I say matte. We're going to get live poll results now. I think the video is unfortunately drowning it out, and I can't really turn down the tone of this monitor. I've got the lighting set up for this particular camera. The top results matte, the bottom results glossy. So I'll let people vote as we continue this discussion. So the benefits of glossy are pretty clear and pretty apparent. The colors on a glossy LCD screen are much more vibrant. The blacks are much deeper, a truer black. A lot of people think the way their eyes see the picture, they believe that as long as the original image, like a photo, is crisp, it shows up even more crisp on a glossy screen compared to a matte screen. Beyond that, the drawbacks as I see the glossy screens is one of the reasons why I don't like glossy screens on laptops in particular, because every single smudge just shows up immediately. I mean, it's not nasty. I mean, every screen collects dust and debris, but it's just so much more pronounced in glossy screens, and that to me is the biggest drawback to a glossy screen, compared to, well, the alternative, matte. M-A-T-T-E, by the way, is how I'm spelling matte. Well, that's how you spell matte in this instance, but just so people, get that straight. So there are benefits and drawbacks to glossy. Matte, has got, the negatives and positives are just the opposite from glossy. So the negatives of a matte, there's not as much contrast between colors, and blacks certainly aren't as black. There's a non-reflective screen. I happen to think that's a positive. Some people think that's a drawback. I also happen to like the fact that I don't have to clean the screen every day to know that it's going to be clear, or at least appear clear, and not every little smudge and pockmark, well, hopefully no pockmarks, or just debris shows up as it does with a glossy screen. It doesn't happen that way with matte, or at least, as I said, not as pronounced. So looks like, if I turn back to look at the poll here, with 132 live viewers weighing in on the topic, 65% say matte and 35% say glossy. Look, you Mac fanatics, even the newest iMacs are now glossy. Yes, and as a matter of fact, when I asked someone at the Apple Store why that was, he said that it was because it was recyclable. And so that's the reason why Apple had decided to go the route of setting up an iMac that was aluminum with a glossy screen, so that it was much more environmentally friendly. So I got to give Apple props for thinking that route, although I'm still not really one for glossy screens. I think glossy LCDs are better on the desktop than they are in a laptop, largely because when you move that laptop around, especially if you take it outside of your regular environment, it is going to collect crap, and the less crap that shows up on the screen that I can detect, the happier I am, and that's why I think it's matte for the win in a laptop. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. What do you think, matte or glossy? And do you think that the E at the end of the word matte is just pretentious and should be dropped? I know, I'm reaching there. I don't know. Leave a comment, suggestion, follow-up, remark, whatever. Where do you think this industry is headed with those screens? Are we going glossy, or is matte going to be around for the foreseeable future? And of course, you're welcome to stop by the chat room anytime, day or night. We'll do polls randomly throughout the day. When a poll is certainly worth doing, as in this case. Numbers haven't changed all that much, 63 to 37. Still not bad. Anyway, as people are typing into the chat room, if you're not catching it, you can swing by our chat room and live website anytime, day or night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're using a matte or glossy screen, live.pirillo.com.